Hey everyone, welcome back to the course. First of all, congratulations on making it this far. We are all extremely proud of you. In today's final JavaScript lesson, we will be making an engaging love calculator, where users will be able to type in their names and calculate their compatibility score. So let's get right to it. Just like the HTML final, it's important to plan out our project. The idea is to have two inputs so people can write their names and then a button to generate the score. Now, we're basically going to ignore the input and we're just going to generate a random number using JavaScript and save it in a variable. After that, we're going to display a dynamic message that changes depending on the score's value. So if the compatibility score is greater than 80%, it'll be a perfect match. If it's greater than 50, it'll be a good match. And if it's lower than 30, it'll be a low match. So let's go ahead and build this. So it's important to first reason out how we're going to build the logic. Let's first start with some boilerplate. So obviously let's give it a title. This is our love calculator. And we're going to have two inputs. So input with a type of text. And then we can just copy and paste this. Let's give a label to each of them. This will be name 1, and this will be label name 2. We can also add a BR to separate the two. And then finally, a button, which will say calculate. And let's make a BR. Perfect. So now that we have the boilerplate, let's actually go and work on our logic. So first of all, let's actually generate the compatibility score. So let score equals. And now how can we generate a random value? Well, if we go to MDN Web Docs, we can see the math.random method, which returns a floating point pseudo-random number that's greater than or equal to 0 and less than 1. So basically, this generates a number from 0 and less than 1. So I say, let's try it out. Math.random. And then since it generates a number from 0 to less than 1, and our final number needs to be from 0 to 100, we can just times that by 100. Now let's console.log the score just to see what we get. 32.1534, etc. 65.008. So math.random times 100 will give us a number from 0 and then less than 100. So if we wanted 100 to be included, we would have to do times 101. And then since we don't care about all these decimals, we can simply wrap this equation and call the math.floor method, which will round down to the nearest integer. So if score was 4.873, it would round down to 4. So let's console.log it and see we got 60, 37, 16, 47, 87. So perfect. Now we want this to generate every time we press calculate. So I'm going to make a function, display results, and we're going to generate this function inside of there so that every time we call display results, the score will change each time. Since we want to tell the users their compatibility score dynamically, which means that if the score is greater than a certain number or lower than a certain number, then based on that, we will have a different output. We can use what's called an if-else statement. If-else says that if a certain condition happens, then execute this code. Else if this condition happens, execute this code. And if none of these happen, else do this. So we want to say if the score is greater than or equal to, and we say that using the greater than sign with an equal sign, 80, then console.log perfect match. Else if the score is greater than or equal to 50, console.log good match. And If it's neither greater than 50 nor greater than 80, then we're going to console.log low match. Now we want it so that every time we click on the calculate button, so on click, the display results function will execute. So let's go ahead and try this out. We have our name, let's see, Geo, and let's say Tech for Teens. For name 2, calculate. Oh, well, unfortunately we have a low match. So, but if we try again, we should see that it's a perfect match. And if we click again a few times, we'll see that it's also a good match. Some of you may be thinking, well, isn't a score of 80 always going to be a score greater than 50? Yes, but because we're checking if it's greater than 80 first, then the computer will execute this line only and will ignore everything else. So although a score than 80 is greater than a score than 50, this will have already executed. And there you go. You have now made your very own love calculator. Huge congratulations for finishing the Tech for Teens 2024 to 2025 web development course. We are all so proud of you and cannot wait to see where your programming journey will take you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask down below this video. And if you enjoy the course, it would do us a huge favor if you shared it with your friends. That's all from us, and we hope to see you back soon.